The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available on Amazon.
The Mike Wagner Show, also brought to you by The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, available on Amazon, highlighting the Book of David.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia, Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Coming soon, Missing 2, double the suspense, double the fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based life of David, including 30 Quids of Pains and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and link to it, the Mike Wagner Show. 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok today. We're here with an amazing lady who is a multi-talented novelist, a former attorney, and graduate of the Creativity Workshop in New York, born in South Africa to Greek Cypriot parents, and holds a bachelor's and bachelor in laws from the University of Witwatersrand, and currently living in Atlanta. We'll talk more about that. She grew up listening to stories told in different voices, accents, and languages, and also being read Greek fairy tales and learned about the Bible by Irish Catholic novels. We'll talk more about that. A new book is out with contemporary historical novel set in 1989 in South Africa, where intersecting lives of Greek Cypriot immigrant and a Black South African woman regarding the cost of apartheid and also the power of female friendship and more. The book is called Under an African Sky. Live, ladies and gentlemen, plus dudes in beautiful downtown Atlanta, Georgia, the amazing multi-talented novelist, former attorney, graduate of Creativity Workshop with a book Under an African Sky, the multi-talented Elene Catrakilis. Elene, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Good morning, Mike. Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it's great to have you on board, Elene. You're a multi-talented novelist. You're a former attorney. You're a graduate of the Creativity Workshop in New York. You're born in South Africa to Greek Cypriot parents. You hold a bachelor's and bachelor in laws from the University of Witwatersrand, and also currently in Atlanta. You grew up listening to stories told in different voices and also accents and languages, being read Greek fairy tales and learned about the Bible by Irish Catholic nuns as well. And you have a new book, a contemporary historical novel set in South Africa, interacting in the lives of Greek Cypriot immigrants, Black South African woman, regarding the cost of apartheid and power of female friendship and heartbreak, betrayal, and more. Of course, takes a lot of forgiving. The book is called Under an African Sky. Before I get to Eleni, tell us how you got started.
How did I get started writing?
Way back.
So shall I tell you a little bit about where I was born? And
correct, yeah. Like I said, the Wayback Machine, way back.
Okay, got it. So I was born in South Africa many years ago to Greek Cypriot immigrant parents in the country. I grew up as an only child of very protective parents who worked 7 days a week. And I had to find ways to entertain myself. So I read a lot. But I was always surrounded by cousins, uncles, and aunts. And even though my parents worked 7 days a week, Sundays they would close their equivalent of a 7-Eleven store, and lunchtime was sacred. And all the family would gather at one of the homes of the immigrant families there. And I would sit there listening to all the stories told by the adults. So that's kind of typical of an only child. You're always listening to the adults. I went to a convent, an all-girls convent, run by the Irish Catholic nuns. My parents were very protective of this only child. It was actually a beautiful experience. From first grade to 12th great. There was a lot of routine, structure, discipline. The end of the day, they would read Bible stories to us. So it was a happy childhood. I went to university in South Africa. Wits University is the way we refer to the university then. I did a Bachelor of Arts and then the Bachelor of Laws. Back in those days, if you were the child of immigrant parents, they really wanted their children to be educated, something which they never had after the Second World War. That's why they emigrated to countries where there was opportunity. So you had three choices as to what you were going to become. You were either going to become a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant. So very squeamish with blood, so that was out. Not so great with numbers. The accounting was out, so I had to become a lawyer. I then did a period of articles in South Africa, worked for a couple of years in the legal profession, was horrified by how people acted towards each other, and then said, I think I'm going to go teach law. It's much easier to teach it than practice it.
Then deal with a bunch of lawyers or liars. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's it. So, and really I wasn't tough enough to be in that world. I think some of my best successes there were negotiating quietly in the background as opposed to, fighting and being nasty and mean. But still, as my parents had always said to me, it doesn't matter what you do with the degree, just get the degree and learn some critical thinking. And they were right. They were right about that. Then I met my husband. I met and fell in love with my husband, who already had one foot planted in the USA. Deep down, I knew that ultimately we would end up in the USA because, he was always after the American dream. But we didn't want to unsettle my parents too much, tell them your only child is off to the US. So we waited a couple of years and then we set off for the US.
That's a fascinating journey. And you end up in Atlanta, or did you end up anywhere in the US before settling in Atlanta?
No, we came straight to Atlanta. And I must say, when my husband was trying to entice me with the US, he said, I'm going to take you up and down the East Coast. We're going to get in a car and drive, and I'm going to let you pick. And, he had relatives in Florida. He had very good friends in Ohio. And I think he brought me here in one of the worst storm seasons that the US has ever experienced. I'd never seen snow. And I remember taking a slide on the ice and thinking, oh, this isn't fun. But when we got to Atlanta, he has a cousin here, and she has the gift of hospitality. And she just wove I think a place is affected by the person who's showing you the place. And she just wove a magic spell around the place. And I remember when we drove into Atlanta, it had rained, and, Atlanta's very lush and green and lots of trees. And there was this beautiful rainbow over the city. And, my writer's brain then kicked in, and I said, oh, this is a sign from God. This is the place. And then the friend Christine was just such a wonderful host that's how we picked Atlanta.
Oh, wow. Okay. And full of peaches, too. And I think that is terrific. I mean, you got a beautiful background right there, and I could see that right now. And what was that one exact precise moment that simply influenced you into what you do in the rest of your career?
Well, when I got here, I had two young children, a 5.5-year-old, and my son was 8. So I was a full-time mom as we were trying to figure out, the lay of the land here. I had helped my husband a little bit in his business. I wouldn't have really been able to practice as an attorney here at the time. I would have had to start all over again, do the bar exam. But I was writing. Writing was a way for me to just hold on to the past, journal my feelings, the sense of dislocation. So that was going on for a long a long time before I finally settled into the novel. This first novel that we're talking about, Under an African Sky, really, I began seriously to sit down and write it once my kids went off to college. That's when I settled down to write it. And that's when I realized, just because I've been an avid reader my whole life, and just because I've written a few nonfiction opinions, it didn't necessarily mean that you knew how to write a novel. Because, you know, what you've got in your head, and then when you transplant it onto the page, doesn't always look as good as what you've got in your head.
It's almost like the concept of what goes in your mind doesn't necessarily translate onto paper. I've had that happen all the time. And of course, you know, I try to write something down. So it's like I go ADHD all of a sudden. What advice would you give to somebody who suddenly goes ADHD or just has a fear to write?
Yeah, no, it is crazy. And I do get a bit ADHD as well as I'm writing. But I just decided, because I could see I had accumulated quite a bit of material and I had to make sense of it. So then I started going to writers' workshops, asking people who were way smarter than me, what do you think? How should I do this? I started buying all sorts of how-to books. But in retrospect, I'll tell you this, Mike, when I first came to Atlanta 26 years ago, there was a famous author who came to Atlanta to promote one of his books. And I remember timidly going, so the writing thing was in my head from way back then. And I remember timidly going up to him after he did his reading and saying, what advice would you give to a first-time author? And so he looked at me, and you know how writers are, they always have this little bit of a barrier distance around them. And he said, there's 6 things that you need to know. So I need to get pen and paper out because I'm going to forget what he said. And then he said, you have to read, and you have to write. So at the time, I was like, he's just been standoffish, you know, so whatever. But I kind of kept that in my mind. And after all the workshops, which were helpful, and after the reading the how-to books, and at the end of the day, what you have to do is sit down and write. Because only when you write do you figure out what you don't know. And different writers have different strengths, and you can only figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are once you begin writing. So
I think that interesting. You mentioned like the 6 things: read, write. I only count 2. Maybe it's 2 times 3. So I think that's pretty good one. Instead of like just put in a zip package or something.
Yeah.
Right. So I was just thinking about it too, that you had accumulated writing styles and studied authors and everything. Who are some of your favorite authors and favorite writers growing up?
Okay, so my favorite author of all time is Charles Dickens. And
nice, classic.
You know why? Because I grew up, in South Africa, and the school I went to used the British education system, and we had the Irish Catholic nuns. So all the books that they had at the library, Charles Dickens, we read everything. I think my favorite of his books is Great Expectations, because you have this. Oh, yeah. You have this little, I'm a sucker for little kids, as they set off into the big wide world. But a lot of the issues that he deals with there are issues that are relevant today about, belonging, trying to fit into a society. And I also love the way he writes. I mean, he's wonderful with atmosphere and creating the world. You kind of feel as if you are right there in England. But interestingly enough, another one of my favorite authors is Jhumpa Lahiri. I mean, she's a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, and she's the exact opposite of Dickens, because her prose is very sparse and precise, and she conveys a lot of meaning with very few words, something which I haven't quite mastered yet. I tend to be a bit verbose. And she also writes about themes that are close to my heart, the immigrant who's straddling like 2 continents or 3 continents and trying to hold on to their culture and their identity and still trying to fit into the new place. So she also deals with that. So those are my 2 favorites. I mean, there's plenty others, but...
And plus, too, you also have your own theme interwoven with your experiences. We'll talk about Under an African Sky with Elene Catrakilis. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has gotten great reviews. In Evil Evan endorsed by Howard celebrities including Joanna Cassie, Forbes Riley, and Manos. So grab your copy today for Girls Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double Suspense, Double of Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by a Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives you a perspective of David through Psalms he wrote as the time of shipwreck started, and complicate yet turn relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com and a link to the Mike Wagner Show, 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also Apple Music, BitChute, Realme, and YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast, T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bag sweeties. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with amazing multi-talent novelist, former attorney, graduate of the Creativity Workshop in New York, Elene Catrakilis here on the Mike Wagner Show. And you got your book, Under an African Sky. It's a new book about contemporary historical novel set in 1989 South Africa. So, tell us more about that time period, 1989.
Yeah, that was a fascinating time, Mike, because the walls of apartheid were about to come down. So there was this whole atmosphere of both fear and elation in the country, excitedness that finally democracy would come, and then fear in the white community. Maybe it's going to be reprisals, maybe they're going to get back at us, so that kind of atmosphere was in the air. But I think predominantly excitement, but people are always scared of change because you just don't know what's coming. And yet, ordinary people are going about their everyday lives. They have to put bread and food on the table. They've got to sort out their kids, their education. So people were just carrying on with their lives and just hoping and praying for the best. And that's kind of what I'm trying to, one of the things I'm trying to show in the novel, that even though extraordinary circumstances are happening around people at higher levels, down on the ground, the people are getting on with their lives and paying the price for mistakes that others may or may not be making. So it was certainly a very interesting time.
How did you feel about Nelson Mandela and the way he ran things?
Nelson Mandela was an incredible man. And when I think back about it, he had this incredible presence. When he walked into a room, everybody you just knew there was this special person in the room. I didn't get to be in the same room as him, but friends of mine who were said there was this presence about the man. He had this incredible dignity, and he ruled strictly, firmly. He took no nonsense, treated everybody fairly, whether they were black or white, and was determined for forgiveness and reconciliation. So there was a tremendous effort to reconcile everybody and try to put the past behind. But I mean, it's very difficult to undo damage like that instantaneously. And South Africa still lives with the damage that is lingering from the policy of apartheid. But he was a great leader. He was a great, great leader.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about the state of South Africa today? Do you think it's improved, changed, went down a bit? How do you feel about the state of South Africa today?
So, I mean, South Africa's president now is also a very clever man. I remember him from back in my days, Cyril Ramaphosa. South Africa has something, I think it's unique to them. As soon as you step off obviously I'm a little bit biased, you step off the plane and you feel the spirit of the people, the resilience of the people is something that you feel straight away. And I think it's something about the fact that adversity breeds resilience. And these people are tough, they're strong, and they've been through so much that they are determined to enjoy life. So if you're sitting there in a restaurant, and they have some of the best restaurants in the world, by the way.
Nice. You're making me hungry, Elene.
you need to go visit sometime.
I got you. Maybe watch some soccer or something. So
yeah, they are soccer fanatics. Yeah. Everything that they do, they're passionate about it. So, I mean, South Africa has a problem with crime. It had a problem when I was there. It still has a problem. It's not targeted against a sector of the community like the whites. It's everybody is suffering from the crime problem. I mean, it's just across it, and it's just something that I'm hoping Mr. Ramaphosa will somehow figure it out. I have this, I'm not on the ground there every day, so it's difficult to get a feel for it when you're not there, but I listen to family and friends talking to me. But I remember this wonderful time in South Africa when apartheid was abolished. And I remember Cyril Ramaphosa, who was also much younger then, and a member of the National Party of President de Klerk, a younger guy called Rolf Meyer. So Rolf Meyer was from the one party and Cyril Ramaphosa from the other party. And these two had to work together to form the interim constitution until they transitioned. And they were at it day and night, with their committees, sitting around tables, hammering this out to make everybody feel protected. And I remember they were at an event and they must have been working all day. And the two of them had their arms around each other's shoulders. And they had taken a song, which I don't know if it means anything to you, an old song called Give Me a Kiss to Build a Dream On. And they'd ad-libbed it, and I can't remember. And they were saying, give me a deal to build a dream on.
Oh, I get it. I'll have to look up that song, Give Me a Kiss to Dream On, although I've never heard of it. I think I'll check out that song.
Check it out, that image stayed in my mind. I mean, these two guys working round the clock, day in, day out to reach a deal. And then I look around me now and I say, come on, people, sit around a table, talk things out, work it out. If a little country like South Africa could do it, everybody else can do it. But anyway, I'm going off on my...
Oh, that's okay. You know what? This is also led into a book where two women must navigate a world everything to hold dear, threatened by cross currents, political upheaval, and involves a Greek Cypriot immigrant living a lavish lifestyle, and also a local South African longtime employee. And basically it's like friendship and everything, and maybe you can talk about the two main characters in the book.
Yeah, thanks. So Sophia is a Greek Cypriot immigrant, and obviously I knew many Sophias or versions of Sophia, and her husband had established a wonderful lifestyle there. And Sophia was not born in South Africa. Remember, she you haven't read the novel yet, but she came there when she was 19, 20. So she hadn't been exposed to the apartheid policy. And remember what Nelson Mandela had said: nobody is born a racist. It's environment can type of sort of steer you in that direction. And then Grace is her loyal housekeeper. So Sophia lives in this palatial home, and then Grace lives in a small room at the back of the home. But they live in close proximity to each other every single day. Each one knows what is going on in the life of the other one. And so they're close. Whether they come from different backgrounds or not, they're connecting on a human level and as mothers. Both of them have children. Both of them have dreams and aspirations for their children. Sophia's is more, she's trying to keep her children close and keep them close to their Greek identity, which is she's a little bit off track there, because now she's in a foreign country and her kids are going to meet people who are not Greek. But she's like hanging on for dear life and trying to steer them in a Greek direction within the small immigrant community there. Grace's worries are for her son's education, and she has to navigate those issues. And she gets a lot of help from Sophia, who's helping her fund her son's education and so on. So Sophia's struggles are more personal and to do with identity and trying to bring up her children in a divided country. And then Grace, her housekeeper's struggles, are a reflection of the broader societal issues going on in the country at the time. And I try to show how their lives intertwine and how historical and political forces test their friendship to breaking point, and how it impacts them.
Mm-hmm. And plus, you also have a father figure stepping in, coming from a remote area too, that, he provides guidance and everything else. Of course, if two people can't get along, a third person has to step in.
Yeah, and it's not that they couldn't get along. They always got, so Sophia and Grace always got on. I mean, even under the toughest circumstances. And there was something I wanted to highlight, that it was not all gloom and doom between people in South Africa. Most of the people loved each other and try to help each other and get on with each other. But Father Theo comes in he's called in for the wedding of Sophia's daughter. And I wanted to bring in the aspect of faith in a tangible way. And having a priest there is kind of bringing your eyes more in focus to the religious aspect. And, Sophia was brought up in the Orthodox faith. Grace is, at the beginning of the novel, is not particularly religious, but she notices, she's also a reader and notices a lot about what's going on around her. And when she first meets Father Theo, she senses there's something special about this man. And there's a scene in the novel without giving away anything, but where things have really gone awry, and her heart is at breaking point. And she's walking through Sophia's beautiful home, and she sees these icons on the wall. And I don't know if you've ever been into a Greek church, but iconography is a major part of the of especially Byzantine iconography. You see it in the architecture. And she notices this one icon that she's cleaned like 100 times before, that she's dusted. And it's an icon of the Mother of God holding the baby Jesus in her arms. And she looks at it and she's staring at it, and something is drawing her to look at it now rather than to just be cleaning it. And then she notices that the little baby, his face is actually that of an adult. And then she just spontaneously does something where she gets down on her hands and knees and she says to the Mother of God, look, I don't really know you guys, but I've seen Sophia pray to you many times. And I'm just wondering, in the unlikely event that you can hear me, you are also a mother like me. So you'll probably understand my pain. So do you think you could ask your son if he could help us out here? Because sons normally listen to their mothers. So she's like desperate now. She's like beyond desperate. She's like, okay, I'm going to just try this. I've got nothing to lose at this point. So that's the thing about the Orthodox faith. You usually have tangible, it appeals to the senses, especially visual. So you see iconography, you see the priests dressed in their splendid garments, and it gets you to start thinking about God and paradise. And
what do you want readers to get from the book?
I want them to get hope from the book, that even in the most dire circumstances, there's always hope, and especially through human connection. I mean, people are just people. It doesn't matter what their backgrounds are, where they come from, what they believe. People are people with the same feelings, and if they connect with each other as human beings, the possibility is that they can get through hard times. So yeah, that's one of my beliefs, that hope is always there. You've just got to look for it. So you can't always see it blatantly.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the cause of apartheid remains as well. And of course, there's plenty of that. And how do they handle the apartheid situation as well? That has to be just summed up.
How did they? The two characters. Well, the two characters, the relationship between the two of them is that they don't really see apartheid. I mean, they are just relating to each other, two women, two mothers, trying to take care of their kids. So for them, it's like a non-issue, but their kids are reacting to circumstances. So Sophia's kid wants to leave the country, and she's like, oh no, I don't want you to leave the country. I left the country once. You're going to leave a country again? No, you're going to stay here. Grace's kid is battling with the education. And she's got him at university, but he's listening to his friends and he's getting mixed up with the wrong crowd. So both women are simply navigating the repercussions of apartheid. It's not that they are thinking, oh, I can't hang out with you because you're different to me. They are dealing with the repercussions. And there's another, the way I try to tie it together is that right at the beginning of the novel, I have an epigraph, which comes from the Greek funeral hymn, which is chanted at funerals. And the chanter is saying, when I disobeyed your commandment, O Lord, you threw me back to the earth from where I came. Grant me again the homeland for which I long. Make me a citizen of paradise. So in the story, both women are looking for the perfect homeland, even if they don't know it. So Sophia is kind of trying to keep Greece in South Africa or Cyprus in South Africa. And obviously Grace is waiting for this perfect homeland when apartheid will be abolished and her son can take his place in the new country. Both women are looking for this perfect homeland. But in the background, I'm kind of suggesting through the priest, is there a perfect homeland on this earth? Is there such a thing as a paradise on earth? Or is it something else? Is it something more? So if you read the story you'll see what conclusions the women come to.
And what conclusions are they? We'll find them in with Elene Catrakilis with Under an African Sky. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing, the Sweet Psalms by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 Quiz of Pains and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalm of Serena Wagner. We'll be back to multi-talented novelist Elene Catrakilis of Under an African Sky after this time out.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American News anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message. And a good book entertains and inspires. And that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here. And it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back on author Elene Catrakilis of Under an African Sky here on The Mike Wagner Show. And, of course, summing up the whole thing and just a great story as well. Where can we find Under an African Sky and all he works at, Elene?
Currently, it's available for pre-order online from Amazon and Barnes & Noble, all the typical places. Definitely the Kindle is available right now, and I think pretty soon the ebook and the hard copies will be loaded up soon so that people can get them and order them online as well. Should be able to get it in some of the Barnes & Noble stores soon. And you can also go to my website and just look for updates over there. It launches in the US officially March 10. But it is available in some versions for pre-order right now. And there's going to be an amazing audiobook as well. I was so lucky with that. I got this phenomenal narrator, a South African actress, and she's done an amazing job with the audio, and that'll be up soon as well and will be available on all the versions.
Sounds great. And what's your website? How people get a hold of you?
So my website it's just www.elenecatrakilis.com. And should I just spell my name because it's such a mouthful?
Sure. Go ahead, especially for our listeners and viewers.
Okay, so Elene Catrakilis, one word, ELENECAT, like the animal cat, CATRAKILIS, elenecatrakilis.com. And Under an African Sky, you'll be able to see things there.
Okay, we'll get everybody to check it out right now. We have the multi-talented Elene Catrakilis of Under an African Sky here on the Mike Wagner Show. Elene, just a few more things. What else can we expect from you, 26 and beyond?
Okay. So, Mike, I have a second novel that I've written. It's completed. It's in its fourth draft. So I'm not Yeah, fourth draft is not good enough to go out. It needs at least another 2 revisions. That one is set on an island in Greece. It's set. It's during COVID, so it's about a geeky American professor of American literature based in New York. She's married to this Greek doctor. And right at the beginning of the book, she unexpectedly and tragically loses him. And her whole world comes to a standstill, but then the rest of the world also comes to a standstill. So there's this woman now, and she's on her own. And just before her husband passed away, he had told her about this dream of his to build a holiday home on this island in Greece. It wasn't her dream, it was his dream, but now she's lost him. So she's like, well, maybe I should go there and take a look at building this home of his. And she'd never been totally comfortable with the place and the little nosy villagers who are always prying into her affairs and things that she's doing. But now she's there, she gets stuck there during COVID. So that's that story that it needs a little bit more fine-tuning, but it's done. And I must say, once I've got a first draft out, I'm so happy because I actually think I'm a better editor than a writer sometimes. The first draft is the hardest because this is something I learned from those workshops. It was taking me so long to get the first draft out, and then they said, actually sit and write it by hand, even in your own shorthand, then trying to do it online, because when you're working on a laptop, your internal editor kicks in and you're looking for perfection. And that's not what you want with the first draft. With the first draft, you just want to get it out, get it down, then go back, then look at it, find your patterns, find your themes, find your characters. It's all there, but don't look for perfection in the first draft. So that's something very useful that I learned. So once you're on draft 4, you're A for away. You're kind of having fun as you work through it.
It sounds like you're having fun as well, too, Elene. And who do you consider your biggest influence in your career?
Who's the biggest? My biggest
influence in your career? Yes.
In writing, my biggest influencer. Do you mean as authors or just people around?
It can be anybody. Anybody.
Mike, nobody can influence you to write. You've got to really want it from inside. Otherwise, you'd be crazy to do it. It's a lot of hard work. And I think probably the fact that I grew up as an only child, probably the fact that I was always observing the world from the outside, always, because remember my cousins were older than me, the adults were older than me, so I was always kind of sitting on the edge watching things. And then even when I came here, until I acclimated to everything and everyone, you're always sitting on the outside watching. So I think I observe things and I see things and I think, wow, really? And I want to write and explore. And that's the other thing I do a little bit differently. They say a writer shouldn't start with themes, that you should start with plots. I never have a plot. That you should start with characters. Possibly. Sometimes I am amazed by certain characters and I make notes about them. But mainly I think what influences me to write is just observing the world around me. And when I'm astonished by something in particular, I start writing down my thoughts. And then and then the characters emerge. And then finally the plot. Maybe that's why it takes me so long.
Right. Yeah. And you're doing a great job, too, and well worth the time as well. Advice to everybody. And speaking of advice, what is the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
About writing?
Anything in general.
I think when it comes to writing, just sit down and do it. Just start and don't look for perfection straight off the bat. Just get that first draft out. Advice in general, who am I to give advice in general? But I would say, in this chaotic time in which we live, when you see things around you or on the news, try to show restraint. Try to think before you open your mouth and talk. Don't cause the situation to become more inflammatory. My late father was not an educated man, and he was a man of very few words. But when he spoke, we all listened. My husband even says, when your dad spoke, he was a very smart man. He was also quiet and observant and not quick to rush to judgment. And now that you've got me talking about that, maybe that's what I would want to say. That's one thing I learned in law. There's always three sides to a story. There's the one side, there's the other side, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. So don't rush to judgment, I would say.
And I think that's a great point right there, where three sides of the story and everything else. We're with the multi-talented author Elene Catrakilis of Under an African Sky here on the Mike Wagner Show. Elene, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing, learned a lot. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mike.
Website?
www.elenecatrakilis.com. They can also just look up the book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and that'll pull up my name, which is a bit of a mouthful with spelling. But if they look up Under an African Sky by Elene Catrakilis, it'll put up all the information that they need. So
okay. We want everybody to check it out right now. Once again, Elene, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all the best. And Elene, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate the time and the opportunity that you've given me. Thank you very much. Take care.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American news anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message, and a good book entertains and inspires, and that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here, and it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.